Hey, Lake Ellen Boys and Girls Club, it's me, Mr. Justin. So I did a couple of basketball videos, and as everyone knows, basketball isn't necessarily my best sport, even though it's my favorite. So I figured, why not try teaching the sport that I know best, which is football. So today, this video, I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to throw a football, for those of you guys that might be bored or maybe want to learn something new. Now, keep in mind, this isn't like I'm not an actual coach, so this isn't like the end-all, be-all, but these are just some pointers and stuff that I've learned over the years that can probably help a kid improve their throwing skills. So, tip number 1. The way you hold the football is super important. The way I've always told the kids to hold it is these laces, you put your middle ring and pinky finger on them, and then the other 2 fingers kind of help hold the football. Alright? Tip number 2, when you throw a football, it is all about the rotation, all right? It doesn't matter how far you can throw when you start off, it matters how well you can make the ball spin. Now, what does that mean? When you throw the ball, if it's all wobbly, I mean, it can be spinning pretty decently, but if it's wobbly, it's not gonna go where you want it to go, all right? So it's all about the rotation, because if it's wobbly, the wind in the air is gonna cause it to change course from where you're aiming, okay? So when you're starting off, it's all about how well you can make the ball spin. You'll get the distance with time, but for now, just focus on making the ball spin. Tip number 3. Part of throwing a football depends on your legs as well. Okay, what does that mean? After you've learned how to kind of get the rotation down and consistent, it's all about consistency, well, the next step is using your feet to your advantage to help throw farther. So I'm right-handed, so when I throw a football, I plant my right foot behind me a bit, I step forward with my left, and then I let it go. Now what that does is it helps create the extra momentum to throw it further. Alright? So if you're if you've gotten the rotation down but now you're struggling to, get a decent distance, keep that in mind. That's why if you watch the NFL and whatnot, when you see someone step back, they'll step back, they plant their foot, and then they kind of step forward as they throw. Alright? So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, and the final tip. Now I get, the kids always roast me about this, that I can't really throw too hard. Now that's not to say I can't throw far or fast, it's just not necessarily hard at them. So, don't put too much stock into being able to throw as hard as you can or whatnot, alright? Again, it's all about the fundamentals. All that stuff will either come naturally to you or just some people don't. But as long as you get those fundamentals down, you don't worry about throwing too hard. You don't worry about throwing too far at first, okay? It's just all about, I'm telling you that rotation is key. The minute you can get that rotation down, everything else just comes super naturally to you, all right? But when you put all these tips together, your ability to throw the football should drastically improve, all right? So this is an example of like a typical throw, and this is what you should be aiming for.